All right, so you may see in the videos that I'm doing that I do this texture on the ceilings, and it's called the skip trowel texture. So I figured I would show it in case anyone was interested in how I do it. So let's go. So I use the blue mud for this. It's a little bit thinner and it's a little easier to work, especially working above your head. So I've got my mud, I've got a bucket of water, and then my tools. So some people like to have two buckets doing this and they mix it all up at the same time. I like to do this just in like micro doses so that I'm not over making this, because I then want to be able to put my bucket away when I'm done with it and call it a day. You get mud on this, and then I create a little well that I then take water from my bucket, squeeze out a little, and squeeze into it so that I get a good amount of water in there. And then I kind of just start mixing in, trying to make sure that the water doesn't leave the surface of this and it gets as mixed into the mud as it possibly can. Also, if you hear baby noises, Vivian is my audience, so she's just sitting here watching me as I do this. All right. So we got that part mixed up, but then it's not quite the texture that I want. So I'll add a little bit more. Whoop. Like I said, there's so many ways of doing this. If you would rather that you put it in another bucket and you get a mixer that you then do this and just mix it all at once, so you just keep pulling from the bucket so you don't have to do this every single time. But it's kind of like mixing paint for me, and I really like those videos. So it's kind of nice. Still not quite my texture that I want. Whoop. Got my well. All right. Get it mixed up. And you want it really, really workable so that it can just go on and you're not having this mess on your ceiling. I think I'm going to put just a tad bit more water in there, and then I think we've got my mixture that I like. Yeah. Oh, got a little on the table. All right. That's about the consistency that I like. And one of my biggest tips is wear something you don't mind getting dirty because it's a dirty process. So I have this trowel. It's the easiest so that I can maneuver as best as possible. So get my ladder. Okay, so you get some on your trowel, and then kind of just flick your wrist, hit it. You're just trying to get a nice texture to it. It's not a full coverage texture. So when you're mudding, when you're taping and mudding, you want to be pretty clean, but you could still be a little dirty. Personally, that's my personal opinion. Other people might tell you differently, but there's a bunch of different ways to do these things, and you just do what works best for you. And personally, I really dislike working over my head, so I'm a little more sloppy with when I am sanding after I mud. I try to get it as smooth as possible, but if I don't, I don't. It's not the end of the world for me, but yeah, so you just kind of, eventually you get a little go with the flow with it, and you just keep going until your whole ceiling is satisfactory. Yeah, I mean, you can do this as much coverage as you like. I like the negative spaces. I think it looks really cool. I don't know. It's a different texture than your stereotypical, and it looks really good when you don't have textured walls, because then all of your interest is in the ceiling, and it does make people look up and see something a little different than they're used to seeing. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but for this house, I felt it was right. I normally don't recommend installing the light before before you do this. We just had company coming, and so we had to kind of do it while this room was still under construction. And my husband is the electrician of the bunch. I don't mess with electrical unless I'm just placing boxes. I don't want that on my. I don't have that mechanical mind to run electrical, so I'm the finished person, and that's totally fine with me. What I was saying in this video, because Vivian started screaming and I didn't want to make you guys listen to that, was that you just get into a rhythm after a little bit. It's the flick of the wrist. You don't want to scrape it because you don't want to remove the material, unless, of course, if you maybe screwed up, then yeah, scrape it, remove the material. But you get in a rhythm and you make it how you want it to look, because in the end it's your house and you are the one that has to love it. And I am by no means an expert at this. I had to watch a video on YouTube, which I will link in case you didn't get enough on this video to be able to do this on your own. But I will show you what a room looks like when it is primed and painted with this texture.